Hello, my name is Ezekiel Nelson, and my project is Oriole. So right away, we're looking at the health of Washington's pine forests and how they're on a decline, but we can also see a similar decline in the mental health of students and the residents of Spokane. So if we can take this existing beautiful pine forest that surrounds Spokane and put it within a new housing development within the city, as the forest grows, so too can the mental health of the students and the surrounding community. So if we look at the pine forests that surround Spokane, the further out you get, the denser it gets, but in the middle it's stripped away. In wandering around the city, I found a patch of wild pine forest that we can take inspiration from, and it begins to look like this. This is a picture I took when I was there with a drone, and we can begin to mimic this section of pine forest and bring it to the downtown fabric. So looking at the mental health of students, anxiety tends to be the biggest issue. We've known this due to the social pressures that school can bring, but technology and social media have increased that, making dual personalities, increased cyberbullying, impaired social interaction, and even disturbed our sleep. But looking at mental health in Spokane, 8% of its residents have reported a behavioral health need, which is 3% higher than the national average. Even looking at its youth, 33% have reported depression. Looking at both of these things, we can start to see the parks and plazas in green and how they're few and small. And in the blue, we're seeing mental and psychology centers that we can take inspiration from or collaborate with on site. So going over all these things, we can take the forest that's just 3 miles outside of Spokane. We have the opportunity to plant it here in a lot amidst a new development right across from University District. We place it here. We bring the housing around it, but then we lift it so the community can engage with the ground floor and the forest. And then we do some additional tilting of the north and south for sun, but also to open up turns to university. And so essentially the bottom becomes a public plaza and a recreation area. The north and south become where the residential units take place. And the east and west are auditorium spaces for your voice to be heard or for members of the community to listen. On the ground floor, you can see how the forest is planted, but you're also seeing these basically kinetic panels that rotate that go around the perimeter. These are ETF panels that we'll get into closer detail soon. So looking at a typical plan, you can see the north and south are the residence units are tucked in, and then the east and west are where the auditorium spaces take shape. Closer look at these units, we have 3 types: 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom. The 1 bedroom is single floor, 2 bedroom, 2 floors, 3 bedroom, 3 floors. The 2 and 3 bedroom have an atrium space in the middle to bring maximum light inside. Looking at a section that's stripped away in 3 layers. In the back here, you can see our ETFE skin, translucent skin that wraps around the circulation. Take that away, and you can see the circulation with the units tucked inside. And then you take the circulation away, you can see how these units are formulated, stacked to bring the most light into the atrium space with views towards the forest. And so looking at the auditorium spaces at the end, really emphasizing the view towards the forest and dimming the views to the outside. Now looking at the ground level and the forest interaction is doing a variety of things, and studies have shown it reduces heart rate, increases positive moods, increases higher parasympathetic nervous activity to create a sense of calmness, and even improves sleep. But what this is also doing is, because this takes a lot of maintenance, the community that surrounds this forest is going to take on small tasks to help maintain it, and this small task completion is shown to fight depression and anxiety. So looking at the ground floor and how these panels work and how they can be rotated to form recreational spaces. They can be rotated in any way or lifted all the way up or all the way down and fold the entire site to be closed off for nighttime or even winter. So the section becomes quite beautiful. Since it is planted, the ground floor is really going to engage with this forest, but as it grows, the different residential bars are going to slowly start to engage, and at its full maturity in 40, 50 years, there's going to be complete engagement on all site. But each generation that lives here is going to have a different experience than the one before and after. This is what it looks like inside the circulation, sandwiched between 2 translucencies, the ETFE on the outside and the polycarbonate residences on the inside. The structure is taking inspiration from just a house sitting on a truss bridge. And so down here you can see the steel trusses that are anchored down, and then the wood trusses sit in between, and the houses sit on top of that, all wrapped in our ETFE skin. Final breakdown of one unit in the circulation on the outside. You can see how this 3-bedroom unit really emphasizes views toward the forest and really kind of limits your view to the outside street. And even in the circulation, your view is dimmed down due to the translucent skin. This is what inside of that 3-bedroom would look like. Again, really emphasizing the forest. And lastly, what this circulation does, that sandwich between two translucencies, is it really helps us cope with seasonal depression. The whole circulation that wraps around the building becomes essentially a light box for light therapy. We can start to mimic the sunrise and sunset, which help establish a more consistent sleeping schedule. It can reset your biological clock, and even make you just feel good and more alert during the day. To finish the presentation, we can take one final look at how this facade would look at nighttime, really glowing from the inside out. So how people interact with the circulation, and even a circulation that runs north to south through the forest. And then you can see the panels at the bottom. But that concludes the presentation of Oriole. Thank you.